I please speak to Julio Diaz?
Yes, speaking.
Hey, Julio, how you doing, brother? This is Dave Duenas. How's everything going with you, bro? I'm sorry to bug you right
Good.
now.
No, it's okay, buddy. Just having some dinner. Excited. The way went good.
Cool, cool, man. I won't take too much of your time because I know you're in dinner and you want to, kind of
That,
get
cool,
yourself
cool, man.
back. Hey, so how was training camp? How was training camp any different from any other ones of the training camps you've been doing so far?
The difference was that this one, I had a very very hard training camp with the amount of time I needed. I started about 2 months ago, and I did a very disciplined training camp. I didn't cheat myself. My team didn't cheat me, and we just had a great training camp. No illnesses, no injuries, no distractions. So I was very happy with that result.
So when you talk about my team didn't cheat me, what exactly do you mean that they didn't cheat you?
So, well, sometimes we might get some easy sparring or whatever's available, or just to get some work in and stuff. This time they got top help, top sparring partners, and hard work, and they really put in the extra work to make me go through hell.
Let's talk a little bit about Kendall Holt here, because in terms of both of you guys, I'm seeing a lot of riders, including in my side of the fence here with my riders, they're writing this as the Crossroad Wars. They're looking at
Yes.
both of you guys. Basically, this is the fight that you need to lay it on the line because it's considered a crossroad fight. Either one of you guys lose, you're out the door. We shouldn't hear any more about you. Do you feel like that too?
Yep, I actually brought it up myself. That's the idea that I had right when they offered the fight. It's going to be a great fight for any boxing fan to watch, and this is a real fight. I think people's going to get a treat. Although they didn't get one with the super mega fight with Pacquiao, they're going to get it this time. It's two fighters that are trying to save their careers, and this is the only way. They're going to leave it on the line. I'll make sure of that. And I know he's coming with the same mentality.
Absolutely. Now, when Kendall Holt in his camp have felt, listen, this weight that they're going to be fighting at this is the weight that he should have been at maybe a few years back. But that also could be said about yourself. I mean, you've mentioned it to us on here on Leaving the Ring that, you were fighting in a weight that you had to train, not be comfortable in, right?
Yeah, of course. That's when my career started deteriorating and it started falling apart because I kept on fighting in a weight class that I shouldn't be, and I pushed it and I was only training for the scale. I would leave all my training just for the scale and not for my opponent. And my performances made me look old and washed up, although I wasn't. That's just how I was performing due to the way and the struggle I was having just to make the weight. And now the difference is that we're able to focus on my opponent, on a winning strategy, on conditioning, and I'm strong and physically healthy. That's the difference.
When we think of boxing families, your guys' name is obviously one of the top names that are brought up, the Mayweathers, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But a lot of times these boxing families are not as tight-knit that a lot of us would be led to believe in. And I know you guys, as brothers, you guys have had your differences, but it's been in differences in boxing mostly or in life in general?
No, as brothers, we've had differences, like normal family differences. Everybody has their own world and their own opinions towards life and the way they function in the daily life routine. But no big deal, nothing that separates us. We're always together. We're all here. No matter which of the brothers always fought, we're always there. And we've always been very close and bonded. It's great support.
Well, speaking about that support here, because I know a while back, I'm talking maybe 2-3 fights back, that one of your brothers felt very strongly that you should have had, and you should maybe be hanging up those gloves. What about now? Being announced that you were going to get Kendall Holt, were all of you guys in sync that you should continue fighting?
Yes, I mean, when you said that, it was like an advice type of thing. If you're gonna be undisciplined, you should might as well hang it up. We don't want to see you get hurt, or I don't want to waste my time if you ain't putting it 100 from your part. Being that I was out of shape and always overweight and so forth. So I got my act together, and I've been on a streak ever since.
That had to sting a little bit. I mean, to hear a family member tell you, "Listen, you're not in shape. You're screwing off. You're
Yeah,
not being exactly."
yeah, it was a wake up call, and they just brought it to my attention, and I agreed with it. I mean, my performances were embarrassing, and it was due. It was my responsibility. I should be a boxer 24/7, not just for every fight.
What do you think Kendall Holt brings to the table? I mean, he's been a very exceptional fighter, but the last time he was really any true threat to in some people's eyes is when he fought Bradley, and we saw the outcome of that. But then when he got in with Kaiser Mamboza, he didn't even come out on that sixth round, and then at the Pontiac, he had a first round TKO. In your eyes, as in your experience and your cornerman's experience, is having one win after two major losses, is that enough to be reformed and be ready for a guy like yourself who's had more than one comeback fight, and it's been big, significant comeback fights, from Pavel and to
Yeah,
Hermon?
yeah. I mean, I feel I've been proven and tested already. I've been through that.
You think power is going to be a factor with him? I mean, people are looking at he's a bigger puncher, possibly more athletic, or do you look at it? Look, you guys can say whatever you want. People can have their assumptions. I know my
Yeah, that
capabilities, and I know what I can do.
exactly. People can have their assumptions and portray him as a bigger puncher. I mean, look at my knockouts. I got more knockouts than he has fights in total, and they're portraying him as a bigger puncher. So I mean, I've always walked in all my fights like that, like the underdog. And when I fought Herman and Gujo two fights ago, I wasn't supposed to win that fight too. Look at how strong this guy is, and I fought under all the conditions, and there was no problem. I walked right through him. And he was a bigger guy, the bigger puncher. And here I am again. He's a bigger puncher, and they forget about my knockout ratio. I mean, look at my knockouts, and against what opposition? Look at the champions I've knocked out.
You know,
So I mean, it's okay. I mean, I know what I got to do. I'm a big boy. I've been in this business for a long time, and it
absolutely.
takes a lot more than stuff like this to even bother me. I'm doing it for myself, and I know what I got. I would not be here for any other reason if I knew I'm not at a level to compete. I think I'm in a better position than Kendall Holt. I feel like I'm giving him the opportunity, and that's what I got to do to get back to my place. I'm willing to do it.
Speaking about Hermon, I mean that was by far one of your best performances. I thought that was a great performance, even with your TKO, over Miranda. That was a great performance. But let me ask you this, man, and I'm pretty sure you're going to give me an honest answer here. Kendall Holt, is this a shot fighter that was just given to you because nobody else wants to believe in you at this moment?
Yes, and I know that for a fact, and that's how I feel. This is just, what, Julio Diaz is old, he's washed up, let's give him Kendall Holt to completely wipe him out, and let's forget about Julio Diaz, and I knew that, and it don't matter, they want to throw me in ESPN again, they want to do this and this and that, it don't matter, if I try to get my attention through other ways, and all I got in return was fighting once a year. I mean, you know what I'm saying? And so if this is what I got to go through, fight these dangerous fights for nothing, well, I got to do it because sitting down at home, I ain't doing nothing else. So, I mean, I'm willing to gamble with myself and take that risk to get that attention.
Well, let's talk a little bit about that here. I mean, because your purse significance had to be in the greater masses when you had faced maybe in 2005 Jose Luis Castillo. I mean, the purses must have been building all the way to Juan Diaz. But let's talk about this purse here. Is that a rude awakening for you and your family to go from a high point to a point where you're like, Kendall Holt, really? Kendall Holt? I got to fight Kendall Holt for this much money?
See, well, for me, I'm a fighter, and I've been a successful person out of boxing. I've been an entrepreneur. I've owned my own companies. I'm a boss for myself, and let's just say I don't need to fight to maintain my family and live well. I live very well, and I ain't a shot-up fighter. I could tell you that for sure. I ain't a shot-up fighter that's just trying to get some paycheck before I retire. I do very well without boxing. So for me, yes, it was kind of a slap in the face, for fighting Kendall like that. But I'm doing it for the victory. I'm doing it to answer those questions, those critics. I'm not doing it just to fight, or I'm not looking at the paydays right now. It don't matter. I'm looking for the victories.
What kind of strategy do you think you need with Kendall Holt?
I think with my experience, just my natural ability, just be very cautious and give him his respect. And I know my experience, even my losses are his great experiences. They all come in play in a fight like this. Because I've seen the goods, the bads. I've been in trouble. I've been successful, and all that comes in play in a fight like this. There's nothing that Kendall could bring to the table that I haven't seen before. I have fought great champions. Great champions are veterans, and I've always been successful. I mean, there's nothing that Kendall has that I haven't seen before.
You guys are the same height coming into the fight, both 5'9", but he's got a 4-inch reach advantage over your 70-inch. He's got 74. Do you think he's going to engage with you, or is he going to try to use those extra 4 inches, meaning that you're going to have to chase him down to make it into a fight?
No. Like I said, I'm a very experienced fighter, and I'm a very good fighter. I can tell you that honestly. And no matter who you are, what style you have, I adapt. And I am your typical Mexican fighter who's going to come just straight in and bang. You see my career. I mean, I'm a southpaw. I'm a right-handed. I box. I attack when I have to. I'm a brawler. I'm a slick fighter. I mean, I'm very flexible with what I got to do. I have a lot of options when it comes to my fights. And Kendall Holt ain't going to get an old Julio Diaz, a punching bag. I could tell you that right now. Kendall Holt won't win.
I don't know if you were in training camp. I don't know if you have a chance to be in training camp with Timothy Bradley, who had fought Kendall Holt. And if so, what is the experience and what advice has he given you to face Kendall Holt?
Timothy Bradley actually just told me, just watch out for it. He's very sneaky and he's strong. When he feels he's in trouble, he becomes dangerous. He just swings away. But Timothy Bradley knows me too, and he just told me, just be careful and always be cautious. And you got this. He is not at a level where you're at, and I know that.
What's the hardest part of your career right now at this point?
Convincing the boxing world that Julio Diaz is still here. Look, turn around. He's still here. And he's still winning fights that you guys are throwing at him not to win. And he's winning them. I mean, at what point, how long is it going to take for somebody to say, hey, maybe Julio is not done? He got off track for a little bit, but not because of my ability. It's, personal problems, my personal life. I got off track for a little bit, whatever it is. But Julio Diaz, I could tell you, is not done.